Beryl, first, thank you so much for speaking with me. And I have to say, congratulations on what we're about to talk about. First, I want to ask you too, because we are, as we speak, into Black History Month. How are you enjoying Black History Month so far? I know it's just started up, but what we're going to talk about, I think, is a big part of it.
So far, pretty good. I'm loving it.
Are you somebody who always celebrates Black History Month? And if so, what would you say is the importance for you in doing this?
You know what? I would say I always celebrate it. I very often have been performing in during Black History Month, and so it is always associated with me with like a time of real like energy, activity, meeting new people, talking about different things, learning new stuff, and so it's really invigorating. It's often associated with the theater, which is great.
Which is why we need to talk about what's behind me right now. This is something very cool and very special. Before we started, you mentioned, of course, that you're the playwright for this, and of course, you act in this. What is this show called, and what is it about, please?
It's called The Flight, and it's about the pioneer aviator, Bessie Coleman, who was 34 when she crashed, unfortunately, during a rehearsal for one of her air shows. So she was a pretty special gal.
How did you find out about this story, and how did you go about this?
I found out about the story because I had read in a book, which was about pilots, about other aviators. I had this long book about aviation and women aviation in general, and here's this little paragraph about someone named Bessie Coleman, and I was like, "Whoa, who is that? Like, what is that about?" I mean, it was just a short paragraph. She had a short but very eventful life, and I was like, "I got to know more about her," and that's
And
how it
who
started.
and who is she exactly?
Well, I mean, she was an early pioneer in aviation. So she, was part of the Great Migration in Chicago, or turn of the century, and her families move up there. And she's, working, trying to make her way, and she learns about what the soldiers were doing in World War I in France, and learned about, the possibility of flying planes. And she was just like, whoa, okay, what's that about? And starts to campaign and fundraise in Chicago to get herself to Europe to train. And so she, starts to devote her entire life to pursuing this path of aviation. And she gets it done, classic Bessie Coleman style. She returns to America and starts booking air show after air show after air show, and she became known as Brave Bessie.
What time period are we looking at here?
Right. So she was born in 1892 and she died in 1926. So it's really like really turn of the century, like right after Wright brothers, this is all happening. It's as soon as, we've heard the earliest stories of aviation, Bessie Coleman was a part of it.
That's amazing because I've never heard about this story. When you talk about this and you even putting this together, were people the same way? Like, I didn't know about this.
Yeah. I mean, people have said, I mean, that was my reaction. So I figured that would be
Mhm.
the reaction of other people too. But some people have, especially recently, as she started to become more popular. Fun fact: a Barbie is being made of her, so she's actually going to get her own Barbie doll, which is very.
That's no,
Hmm.
sorry, I didn't interrupt you. I was gonna
No,
say
I mean
that
that's
is
the story. It's super
amazing.
cool.
I love hearing about that. Good on them for doing that. So here you are, you hear about this great true story. How do you now not just put this to pen to paper, but also on stage? How do you do this?
Well, there's lots of people involved. We've got wonderful people who are seasoned producers and who have worked often in the theater, and they're putting it together. Um, Well, essentially, there's got director Marcel Stewart working with a team of fabulous award-winning designers and producers to get the show into a place where, I mean, this is biographical material, right? But it's really about the relationship that me as a playwright has to her story, and the parts of her story that really resonated with me. And so it begins by just, finding out what it is about her story that really, really appealed to me. and just working from there, and experimenting and having fun, and in the meantime, always admiring her as a character, as a person. She's a really fascinating person.
Now, can I assume that you play her?
I do play her. Yeah, I do.
So what is that like? And I can use this, I can probably say, what is it like to play one of your heroes?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's a really interesting experience. I have to say, I mean, there's ways in which I feel like I can relate to her, and ways in which I'm like, whoa, okay, what's going on in your mind? Why did you do that? Why did you do this? How did you do it? And I I think you always learn as an actor, you always learn a lot from every character, but I really feel
Mhm.
like I've learned a lot from Bessie. That's one of the things that has struck me the most, is that she's just like she when people say she didn't take no for an answer, I just getting in the inside of that and trying to, understand what that's like to just really never be deterred. I mean, she did every single step towards like her goal, towards her dream. So that is like, it's a really humbling experience. I don't pretend to, I'm very much interpreting her, you know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
I it's like, in a way, it's really very much my creative interpretation, but it's just something that, it's an honor, it's a huge honor to be able to try that out.
Because you realize when we watch this play, we're gonna walk away, and anytime we mention her name, we're gonna think of you
I
as
never
this person.
I actually have not thought about that. It's funny. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that's true. Well, I mean, I think that, again, like, the what I really hope people take away is that, she's a fascinating personality,
Yeah.
of just by herself. You know what I mean? And so hopefully what that does is just, if people are reminded of Bessie by seeing me, then that's awesome.
I don't want you to give too much away,
Okay.
but I'm very curious on what the special effects are going to be like. Don't give too much away, but can you
Okay.
give us just a little sample?
All I'm going to say is there are some very interesting pictures. Let's put it that way. Should be very visually interesting.
Okay, we'll leave it to that. But more importantly, where's the show going to be? Where's it running? From what to what? And how do we get tickets for this?
It's at Factory Theatre in Toronto, and it runs from February the 10th to the 18th. And you can head over to Factory Theatre's website to pick up tickets.
Fantastic. And before we go, any other shows happening for you? Are you writing out any new ones out here? Are you going to be starring in anything else?
Not yet. This is the one. And you'll have to come over to Factory Theatre and we can chat after the show, find out if there's any other future opportunities and possibilities. You never know.
You never know. Well, congratulations on doing this. Congratulations on bringing this to life. I think it's so important that somebody like this is recognized, and cannot wait. I can't wait to see the special effects. That's the thing I cannot wait for. Thank you so much. And again, congrats.
Thank you so much.